Hey everybody, welcome back to today's Criticless News. Today we're going to be talking about Nicolas Cage's newest project, which will come out sometime early next year, I believe. We're also going to be talking about the YouTube movie reviewer who's gone on to become a director. There's some news about his new movie, and we all know his name, Chris Stuckmann. And then we'll finish up with some interesting news about TV shows or TV streaming and how the big companies are starting to lose out to some of the smaller companies. So let's get into it. All right, everybody, let's do it. So, what I wanted to start off with today, what I think is the most interesting news, is Nicolas Cage's newest movie, The Surfer, has been bought by Lionsgate after it premiered at the Cannes. Now, Nicolas Cage is currently on fire. He seems to do he Nicolas Cage has always been one of those actors that pumps out movies. He pumps out, I don't know, 3 to 5 movies a year, and there was a long period where they just weren't that great. I mean, it was like a long period, but he's been putting out movies since the '90s, and I grew up watching Con Air, Face Off, Snake Eyes, so many excellent Gone in 60 Seconds, so many great, like, '90s, early 2000s movies that I've always held a hope that he would make a comeback, and here we are. This man has just been pumping out movies, and I'm sure everybody's trying to work with him, and this'll be the next movie. So, currently, his movie, Longlegs, is in theaters, and it's doing really well. I talked about it yesterday in the box office. It came in number 2 behind Despicable Me 4, which was pretty wild for a horror movie in the summertime. Because I mean, it's more of a thriller horror, but hey, still counts. And as you see here on Criticlist, it currently has 18 reviews with a 73%, which makes it a rad. There's been a couple people that were like, "Yeah, I just didn't quite feel it," but then there's been a lot of people that are like, "This is a fantastic horror movie," and everyone keeps calling it very unsettling, and make your skin crawl, which is also how some people that have seen The Surfer, that's what they've said. They've said The Surfer is a psychological thriller that is gonna really be one of those make your skin crawl, kind of go crazy as Nic Cage normally does in some of his roles. And so let's see. So the premise is that he's been humiliated. So he's going back to his old surfing hole, and he goes and that's the name of my band, Surfer Hole. And he's going back with his son to surf, and he's humiliated by powerful locals and is drawn into conflict that rises with the punishment heat of the summer and pushes him right to his breaking point. Now, Nic Cage at his breaking point, we all love to see it, so I can't wait for that. Um, where did it say? Oh yeah. So the Variety's chief film critic, which I mean he's a critic, so yeah, I don't know if I can trust him, but I like what he said, so maybe I'll hold a little hope. But he said it's a trippy, slapdash comic nightmare where the only way to watch it is to sit back and go with it. And Nic Cage makes that easy to do. So I'm hoping it's just some sort of balls to the walls, crazy, over the top revenge flick. So, and it's got a big cast. I mean, Julian McMahon, Nick Kassem, Miranda, Tapsell, Alexander Bertrand, and so on and so forth. So, hopefully, this will be a awesome summer movie next year. That's my hope for this movie. All right, next. Everyone either loves him, he's had, or they hate him. He is Chris Stuckmann. He was a YouTube reviewer that had a little bit of controversy when Madam Web came out when, he kind of said, "Hey, I'm not gonna review this movie because it was a bad movie, and my channel's not about that," which isn't really true. He did review plenty of bad movies, but it kinda came out that was because maybe he was becoming a director and he was gonna do a movie, and so his movie is called Shelby Oaks, and it has currently been bought by Neon, which, speaking of Neon, they did Longlegs. They produced Longlegs. So Longlegs is Neon. And this is a fun fact that I saw yesterday. Is Neon Longlegs was Neon's best or highest. Uh, how do I word this? It's made them the most money in theaters, and so I think they're hoping to keep. keep that train going by purchasing Chris Stuckman's Shelby Oaks. Case here, after a great weekend, Neon announces Tuesday it's acquired the worldwide rights to Shelby Oaks. So this will be Chris Stuckman's directorial debut and is described as a documentary found footage crossover. Which, I mean, hey, I love a good found footage. So maybe he'll be able to knock it out of the park. That's what I hope. I mean, I don't want anybody to fail necessarily. So if he can make an awesome movie and really move into directing instead of being a critic, that'd be great. I love found footages, so who knows what he's gonna do. Let's see. So it stars Camille Sullivan, Brenda Sexton the third, Sarah Dunn, and it follows a woman named Mia as she's frantically searching for her sister Riley, who ominously disappeared in the last tape of her investigation series. Okay, so it's one where it's gonna be they have tapes. They're trying to find this person, and they're filming their investigation of her missing from her investigation. Okay, cool. It's raised at 1.4 million. Makes the most funded horror film. So I mean, there's a lot of Stuckman fans out here then that are saying, "Hey, we're gonna help you get there." So we'll see. I really hope this is something successful, and Neon seems to have at least a general idea of what they're doing. So hopefully they'll be able to help this get out there and distributed. Okay, last thing I wanted to talk about, and this isn't really like big news when you start looking at the numbers, but it is kind of a telling sign of the ages. So the big platforms, I'll just use this picture to talk about it. Disney, Paramount, Peacock, and Max have found that their viewerships for their shows are dropping in comparison to the free services such as Tubi, Pluto TV, and Roku. And I actually really find this interesting because the way those channels those apps are free is that they do ads, just like the good old days. We have ads between every like 5 minutes and things like that. And I have started using those myself. Funny enough, we just recently have been using Tubi and Roku because they have such a different variety. It reminds me the variety of the movies they have on there and shows remind me of the olden days of Netflix, where you could go on there and find the cult classics. I was recently watching the Nukem High series, which are terrible, funny, gory movies from the Trauma production team and or Trauma. And I don't know. They're not on. I've never seen them on anything else, but they were here on Tubi, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna watch this stuff. And I think that's what a lot of viewers want. They want obscure. They want things they haven't seen before because every time I go on Netflix, every time I go on Max, it's the same content. It's the same things. And I'm just tired of that. I want different. And I think that's what we're getting offered here at Tubi and Roku. And we're willing to say, okay, it's free, but I have to give an ad. I have to watch ads. And so the news here for the second month in a row, Tubi, Roku, and Pluto TV collectively now accounted for bigger shares of television than combined total for the others, the big three. So we're not talking about big numbers, 4.3% and 3.7%, but that is a shifting tide. And I think that's really what's important here is that we're seeing people realizing they don't have to pay, especially with, the crackdown on sharing accounts and the rising cost of subscription services. So I won't be surprised if we see this to continually change. Tubi took a 2% share of TV usage, an impressive 14.7% growth from May. So putting up near identical statistics to Disney Plus. And let me tell you, the only reason I have Disney Plus is because my 2-year-old loves Disney movies. And I can't blame them. They're one of the few companies that have produced consistently great movies, including Pixar. So, like, I feel like once my child's out of that, I won't have Disney Plus either. I'll just be another one of those people that's like, "Yeah, I don't need Disney Plus." So, it is very interesting to see a shift in society. I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, we cut cords, and now here we are paying as much as we were with cable for these services." And that's the thing is Tubi, Roku, and Pluto are changing the game there. And I saw on Tubi, you can find a bunch of things from Max, a bunch of DC and Marvel. So I'm like, why would I need Disney? and Max and Netflix if I can find that stuff elsewhere. So I'll be here curious to hear your thoughts on that stuff. Like, do you guys use these free services? If not, maybe you should start looking if you're bored with what you're watching. Find something new this way. Well, thank you for joining along. If you have anything to add to this, please drop a comment, like, and share with all your friends. Every little bit helps. And if you haven't yet, go on criticlist.com, create a profile, start reviewing movies and shows. Anything you watch on Tubi, just go and review it. Go drop a review or two. Why not? All right, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.